Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Hello and welcome back to The Splash Live, keeping your local news in the Greater West Bloomfield area on your television screens each and every day throughout the week on Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. I'm your host, Tyler Keefe, and thank you for joining us on our television channels on Comcast, Channel 15, and on AT&T, Channel 99. You can also find us on the web, live and on demand every single day on CivicCenterTV.com. Find us on Facebook as well at Civic Center TV 15 and on YouTube at Civic Center TV. You can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to find our programming each and every day, absolutely free. And if you hit that bell icon, you'll also get notifications in your email inbox every time that we go live or post a new video about one of our 4 communities. In addition, you can take our favorite programming from across our 4 communities on the road with you every single day on 89.3 Lakes FM, including us right here on The Splash Live. It's going to be another kind of cloudy and ugly week ahead for at least the first half of this week in Greater West Bloomfield. Your high today, 37, low of 31. It's going to be cloudy for most of the morning and throughout most of the afternoon. We will see a little bit of sunshine peering through those clouds later on in the afternoon, right around the time you'd be heading home on your afternoon commute around 4 o'clock. But that's really the only mostly cloudy conditions we'll see throughout the day today. That being said, otherwise pretty tempered outside, a little bit warmer on the temperature side, and the winds about 6 to 8 miles per hour. Tuesday, much of the same, slightly lower temperatures, high of 34 and a low of 31, cloudy with some chance of snow really all throughout the day. The lowest chance is going to be in the morning, right before, on the early side of the morning commute, around 7 o'clock, 10% chance. But that jumps to 55% by 10 o'clock, and slowly but surely will reduce throughout the rest of the day and into the night. Winds are topping out at about 8 miles per hour, so some slick conditions on Tuesday as the day progresses. Maybe take a little extra time to get from A to Z on your way home on Tuesday evening, and be safe on Wednesday after the snow comes in on Tuesday. Wednesday, your high 38, low of 32. It's going to be cloudy and winds up to about 8 miles per hour. So Wednesday, very similar to today with some snow in between. That's your weather forecast. We'll have more of your local weather all throughout the week right here on The Splash Live. Plenty making headlines across our local community, including right here in the Greater West Bloomfield area, where kids in the West Bloomfield School District got ready for a big weekend of football in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Late last week, the West Bloomfield School District posting these photos as kids got into Lions spirit over the weekend. The Lions, of course, taking on the 49ers on Sunday in the NFC Championship game. Didn't work out the way we were hoping it would, but all this pride from the Detroit Lions that spread throughout Metro Detroit, throughout the country, really throughout the world, with football fans rooting for the men in Honolulu blue, was definitely the case in the West Bloomfield School District. Some great photos posted on their page. We'll get into more details on that in a little bit. We'll also talk to Zach Hilbers, the West Bloomfield High School head football coach, about, of course, the Detroit Lions, about guys like Donovan Edwards and Makari Page, who have both announced they're headed back to the University of Michigan, and talk about the coaching change at U of M, how that kind of parallels his start this past season as the head coach of the West Bloomfield Lakers. West Bloomfield High School clubs and sports came together to putt for a good cause. We'll tell you what that cause was and what they did in order to raise funds for people not only in our community, but all throughout the world. Get ready for some midweek fun at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. We'll tell you all the fun and games happening at the Community Center on game night this Wednesday. West Bloomfield Parks is continuing its Green Dream initiative for the month of January. Some conservation tips that include your clothing and some fun events coming up later on in the year that you can mark your calendars for that are very much in that spirit. Later on in the program, Kirsten Sonneville-Douglass from Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation will join us as this is a special week in the heart of the lakes. Taste of Keego 2.0 underway for its 3rd year in this new format. She'll tell us about that format, some of the restaurants that are participating, and how you can also participate at home and around town in the city of Keego Harbor. We're also going to continue the celebration of 50 years of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. We were out at their 50th annual celebration over the weekend. We'll give you details on when you can see that program in full, plus Dave Scott was out on the road talking to a couple of members of the Historical Society, including some of their leaders, and we'll hear from them later on in the program. If you're headed to the West Bloomfield Library, there's something very important you're going to need to bring with you as you check out those books, and it's not your library card. We'll tell you what that item is later on in the program. Plus, it's that time of the year again to recognize great volunteers and others making a difference in our community with the Michigan Week Community Awards breakfast. Nominations are open. We'll give you all the details on that later on in the program as well. Stay with us. We'll have plenty of more news from across the greater West Bloomfield area up next on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from Sylvan Lake, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy. And if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depressing stuff. That's what white people think. You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show on Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. We're also on the radio on 89.3 Lakes FM and across social media. Visit us on civiccentertv.com for all the details and all the places you can get more information on our 4 communities every single day from our team here at Civic Center TV. It was a big weekend in the football scape for fans across the state of Michigan, around the country and around the world rooting for the Detroit Lions. That began late last week on Friday after our show on Friday, the West Bloomfield School District posting these pictures of students throughout the school district showing their support, including over at West Bloomfield Middle School, making special signs, dressed in Lions gear and Lions colors all throughout the day to cheer on their favorite football team outside of course, the West Bloomfield High School Lakers they cheer for all throughout the fall season. The Lions took on the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC title game last evening in San Francisco at Levi Stadium. An unfortunate result as the Lions had a big lead at the half, dropping a 17-point lead to ultimately be defeated by the 49ers 31-34, and then ending, of course, their campaign to potentially play and win a Super Bowl in this season. Here to join us to talk about the Lions and some other recent news in football that has relations to our community right here in the greater West Bloomfield area is the head coach of the West Bloomfield Lakers varsity football team, Zach Hilbers. Coach, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you on. It's a good morning, as always, here in the greater West Bloomfield area. Could have been better if we had a Lions victory to kick off this morning, but there's so many similarities, I think, between this Lions team in their regular season and postseason and the way the Lakers played. this season as well for your squad, because there was always going to be those expectations of success coming into this season for both of these teams. It didn't end the way that you would hope that it did. So if you're Dan Campbell in this situation, being that you are a head coach, what are those first things you're maybe saying to the guys in the locker room after a loss like that ends a season like this?
I mean, man, when you're in the moment, you just try your best to hold it together. And that's one of the things I respect about Coach Campbell so much, that he's such a genuine guy. Listen to his press conferences. I mean, he just owned everything, was just himself from, day one that you saw years ago when, I guess they were on Hard Knocks, and every day through that. So you just got to be yourself. And he's always a heart on the sleeve type of guy. And, you can tell he still was. And, I mean, I feel for him and all those guys because, we were all so proud of him as a community. It was such a great run, and to be that close, it's tough.
And from an X's and O's standpoint, there's so many questions about the Lions' decision-making, Dan Campbell's decision-making in that game, and how that may have impacted what was ultimately a 3-point game at the final result. But at the same time, this is a San Francisco 49ers team that was 12-5 coming into this game. They were the number 1 seed in the NFC for a reason, and they made some serious adjustments themselves at halftime. So from a coach's standpoint, from a guy that is, so to speak, an expert in football, now, what did you see differently in the second half for the 49ers and from the Lions that may have also had a big impact on that game's result?
Well, thanks. I don't know if I'm quite the expert any of those guys are, but I guess I dabble in those situations a little bit with, the job here. I was honestly, it's been a lot of talk between last night and even this morning with the kids here in school. Would you have done this? Would you have done that? Like, I would have done everything. And it's easy when something doesn't go your way or the ball bounces the other way to say, like, well, you could have done this or that. Yeah, you're right. You could have in hindsight. But, in the moment, he did everything, I guess, that I was saying and yelling at the TV. Like, he did it. And it's just, that's Coach Campbell, I guess. And, it just didn't work out. It's tough for fans because that's the toughest thing for me is I try to watch the game as a football coach, but I'm a big Lions fan. I have been my whole life. You get so emotionally invested and attached. It's hard to admit that sometimes at some point the ball has to bounce your way. So, you think about like the long pass downfield that bounced off the face mask and Ayuk made a diving catch at like the 1 or the 2 yard line. It's an incredible play. And if you talk about an oblong ball, the football, oblong, not round, thrown 50 yards down the field, hitting someone's round face mask, it can bounce in any direction, right? And it popped back up. Their guy made a great play. And, that's just, I guess, one example of going into detail about, the bounces and the breaks that can go your way or go against you. And it's your job as a football coach and a football team that, when those things happen to respond and, put yourself in the best situation you can. And they had some tough breaks. Some of them self-imposed maybe, but they had some tough breaks that whole second half. And like you said, San Francisco's a really good team. That's what happens when you play good teams.
Zach Hilbers is with us on the Splash Live, head coach of the West Bloomfield Lakers varsity football team, a team that, much like the Lions, got right on the doorstep of playing for a championship. Got right there. It was a very close game. It came down to the wire, much like this game on Sunday did for the Lions on the road against the 49ers. And so giving us some insight into what may have been in the thoughts of the coaching staff and those players. And as a guy that played ball all the way through high school, who's been coaching high school ball for a number of years, and had some of those similar situations yourself this season, as things are starting to not go your way, as the luck is starting to go in the favor of the other team. Your guys are making some mistakes that are causing some self-inflicted wounds and keeping your team out of that game, or giving opportunities to the other. How do you make those adjustments in the game, and what conversations are you having, or are your coaches having on the sideline with players in those situations? Because whether it's college, whether it's NFL, whether it's high school or any other level of football, these are very similar situations that are really common.
Yeah, and I mean, it might sound cliche, but that's why it's so important to practice like high leverage situations as much as you can. So like when you get in the moment, been there before. And you're never going to be able to duplicate, an NFC championship game situation where the momentum was all yours and it seems to be going the other way. But, that's why I guess football and other coaches, and not just athletics, but across a broad spectrum of careers, it's so important to be, I guess, focused and mentally tough, because things aren't always going to go your way, and how you respond when things are kind of stacked against you, it seems like, can tell a lot between winning and losing. Conversation we had with the kids after we lost the doorstep in the semifinals was that the margins sometimes between success and failure are razor thin, and when that's the case and when that's the truth, it's your job as an individual, as a team, as a unit to kind of move the needle your direction. Sometimes it goes your way and sometimes it doesn't.
We're joined by Zach Hilbers. He is the head coach of the West Bloomfield Lakers varsity football team, joining us on the Splash Live, talking about the Lions and some other big news in the football landscape in our state over the last week or so has been the exit of Jim Harbaugh as the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines football team at the college level, just after winning a national championship just a couple weeks ago. And now they have a new head coach in place. Their offensive coordinator, Sherrone Moore, has been promoted to the head coach position. And it's tough to think about West Bloomfield football without the connection it has to Michigan football, of course, with Donovan Edwards, with Makari Page, with Amir Herring currently on those teams, and so many connections. Ron Bellamy, the wide receivers coach. But now with Sherrone Moore being promoted to head coach, it kind of brings those similarities to your situation at West Bloomfield High School and even to your predecessor, Tyrese Grice's situation of keeping that coaching staff intact as much as possible, having that familiarity in the locker room. What benefit does it bring to Michigan's football program to keep a guy like Sherrone Moore there as their head coach after a big exit of Jim Harbaugh and others like their defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter?
I mean, I think it's invaluable to them as a program because, obviously Coach Harbaugh, phenomenal coach, success at every level he's been at. But it gives them some sort of stability that so many programs, we'll find out what happens with schools like Alabama and some other places that lose, I guess, like a stalwart, type head coach, and they just went a different direction, went outside. Hopefully Michigan can benefit from, like I said, the continuity and familiarity. And you do have to do things your own way. You can't just step in and say, well, this is the way we've always done things, and this is how we're going to continue to do things, because you do have to be yourself. I know, Coach Moore doesn't need to listen to my advice on that. He'll, figure that out, knows that on his own. But at the same time, the kids are hearing a familiar voice and familiar structure. And yeah, you got to put your own twist on it and do it your way. But I think it's the continuity is so hard in this business. And anytime you can have a continuity of like a football staff, anytime you can, I guess, maintain any semblance of that, it helps quite a bit.
It helps to have guys returning from the previous regime that were critical players on your national championship team, guys like Donovan Edwards and like Makari Page, who both announced recently on their social media they will be coming back. Donovan for another season, and Makari Page for his fifth season at the University of Michigan. Those are two key additions, and that West Bloomfield connection is having an even stronger impact as the years go on at the University of Michigan for a team that just won a national championship. That's going to go through its own sort of growing pains in a transition from one head coaching regime to another, despite the similarities. What can guys like Donovan and guys like Makari Page with that veteran experience bring to this national championship team as they try to go back to back?
Yeah, and Samaj Morgan as a freshman got some experience too, which is pretty valuable, I think, for him, because I think if I remember right, the receiver room at least had a few seniors or upperclassmen that are at least moving on. So having him get that experience on the field will, hopefully kind of give him a jump start to next year as well. But like I guess you asked about the other two, like they seem like veterans. It's crazy to me since I've known them since like they were little kids, and in a lot of ways, I still think they're little kids, even though they're not. They're, pretty big, grown men out there playing a tough game. But, just the experience they bring and the wealth of knowledge, whether it's the situations that you brought up earlier or just, I guess, the process of, the work that it takes to be successful. Even if you have a coach that's been the new head coach in Sherrone Moore that's been there, you have to rely on your upperclassmen and your veteran players. I had to last year with, my senior class with Jameer Benjamin and Brandon Davis-Swain, Ari Jackson. You can go down the list, and Montel Johnson, all these guys that were, huge for me as a coach that, went in every day, worked hard, did things the right way. and it just helps bridge that gap. So, hopefully Makari and Donovan and the other veteran players, same thing for Coach Moore.
Well, Coach, hopefully we will be seeing more of that from the University of Michigan with these critical players from West Bloomfield, including guys like Samaj Morgan, who will have, as you said, a bigger role you'd expect next year in Coach Bellamy's wide receiver room, and even Amir Herring with some of their losses on the offensive line. We could see him also get some action next year in the next couple of years and be a really big player in Ann Arbor. Whether it's the Lions or it's the Michigan Wolverines or it's the West Bloomfield Lakers, football always important to our communities. And just to tie this back to the Lions and their loss last night, but their performance throughout the season, just how much can a game like football galvanize a community?
Yeah, I think quite a bit. I mean, I'm pretty biased because I even tell the kids and like our coaching staff here that like, we should all understand that, like, we probably care about football way too much, like, as a group. But I still also believe that it can do so many cool things for you in life, teach you so many important lessons. And you kind of saw it, like you mentioned about the community, whether it's like the cool drone shows they're doing or just the general morale that's been around the city for the last few months. And I mean, they just, like I said, they did an incredible job. I got so much respect for Coach Campbell and everybody else there. Because, like I said, it's genuine too. At least I think you can tell when the guy talks, like it's everything he says. At least as fans, it makes him an easy guy to pull for.
Zach, we appreciate you joining us today and for your insight on some big football news of late, not only in our community but throughout the state of Michigan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Zach Hilbers, head coach of the West Bloomfield Lakers varsity football team. Hey, they had 10 wins of their own, got right on the doorstep of a championship of their own. They know what these Lions are going through right now to some extent, and I know always are a big part of our community here in the West Bloomfield area. Of course, you can always keep up to date on the West Bloomfield Lakers varsity football team right with us here on Civic Center TV with live broadcasts throughout their regular season and playoffs each and every year. We'll take a break on the Splash Live on the other side. More stories to get to from throughout our four communities and some tasty opportunities in Keego Harbor. We'll have more information on that and more up next on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Take a break and tune in to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join Tyler Keefe as he goes through headlines and events, updating you on the day-to-day happenings in Oakland County. Catch us live weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99. Bringing you stories and memories from Keego Harbor, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, your live daily news and talk show from throughout our four communities here in the greater West Bloomfield area. I'm Tyler Keefe, and thank you for joining us on Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. We always encourage you to keep up to date with us on our social media. Follow us and like us on Facebook to keep us in your feed each and every day at Civic Center TV 15. And subscribe and hit the bell icon on our YouTube channel to keep all your videos from across our four communities in your feed and in your inbox every single day, absolutely free. All that information on CivicCenterTV.com. Some fun and games for a good cause late last week in the West Bloomfield School District as the golf team at West Bloomfield High School and the Interact Club joined together with the West Bloomfield Rotary at the ACS building in West Bloomfield for what was called Putt for Polio. This event in their gym and recreational space got seniors in our community as well as high school students, administrators, and more from the school district together as a fundraiser to help West Bloomfield Rotary raise funds in order to support polio vaccination across the world. One of their many efforts each and every day throughout the community. In that previous picture there, you saw Coach Armstrong, one of the golf coaches at West Bloomfield High School, who was involved in this event, and others. Dr. Bazzi also involved in this and attended. So many from our community playing a little bit of putt-putt in the ACS building and raising funds for a good cause. You can see even more pictures from this great fun event with an amazing turnout. Look at that picture on CivicCenterTV.com. You can see all the pics from this event on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield Schools. West Bloomfield Parks is continuing to provide its latest and greatest conservation advice to help you keep your life and our community green going forward. Their Green Dream for January is all centered on recycling, reusing, and preventing the trashing of old clothing items from your home as we begin 2024. Of course, they want to make sure you're keeping those clothes out of a landfill, encouraging you to either reuse them for other purposes in your home, maybe give them away as hand-me-downs to people that may still be in need of it in your family or in your life if those clothes no longer fit or no longer suit you, or of course donating them to local organizations. Another way you can get rid of that old clothing while promoting conservation in our community is to sell it at your local community garage sale. West Bloomfield Parks is encouraging you to mark your calendars for that, happening May 11th at the Recreation Activity Center from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Registration will be underway in the coming months for those that want to sell at this event, but everybody can mark their calendars for it right now and get even more information on their Facebook page at WB Parks, or find information on all of West Bloomfield Parks' events all throughout the year on WBParks.org. And you don't just have to sell in Sylvan, in West Bloomfield at their community garage sale. There's another community garage sale just a couple weeks before that if you want to get a kickstart on getting some of those items out of your home and promoting conservation in our community with our friends at Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation. Their community garage sale is May 23rd through May 26th from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. And that is citywide. That's citywide garage sale right around the same time as the West Bloomfield event, and you can find more information on that and all of Keego Harbor's events in the Parks and Recreation Department this year by visiting KH Parks on Facebook, facebook.com/KH Parks. Those fun and games throughout the year with Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation really kick off for 2024 this week. The Taste of Keego 2.0 underway. We'll talk to Kirsten Sonneville-Douglass from Keego Harbor Parks and Rec up next on The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on CivicCenterTV.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at CivicCenterTV.com and click Schedule at the top of the screen.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3.
You saved me.
Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiver.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bringing you stories and memories from Orchard Lake, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show on Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. We're bringing you this local programming all throughout your work week. Find us on demand at all the times that we're airing each and every day on civiccentertv.com. It is a very fun and a very tasty week in the city of Keego Harbor. Now through February 4th, and this Taste of Keego 2.0, a.k.a. Restaurant Week in Keego Harbor. Here to join us to talk about all the meals, the deals, and the fun with Keego Harbor Parks and Rec during this and other events is Kirsten Sonneville-Douglass. Kirsten, thank you for being with us today.
Good morning, Tyler. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you on to join us to talk about Taste of Keego 2.0. And let's start with that nomenclature. Taste of Keego 2.0. It is a revamped version of the Taste of Keego event that has been going on in the city for a number of years. Tell us about the difference between this version of Taste of Keego and what we used to see in the past over at Santia Hall.
Yeah, so Taste of Keego, the original, was at Santia Hall. It was Parks and Rec's largest fundraiser, and it had all of the restaurants in the area. They were able to come, and it was almost like small plates where people got to have a little taste of each of them, walking around Santia Hall and being around our neighbors in our community. And it just got to be more of a challenge because restaurants didn't have the staff to provide to help with the serving, and volunteering was a challenge. And then unfortunately COVID happened. And so we had to revamp it and rethink it. And so it was driving business back to the restaurants during the pandemic. And so we just made it 2.0. And so, it's our third year doing Taste of Keego 2.0.
How did the response to the changes to Taste of Keego during the COVID-19 pandemic inform keeping the Taste of Keego event as it is right now today in this 2.0 version? Was the response from the community, was it the response from the restaurant, or both that really informed why this should stay this way going forward?
A little bit of both. That's a really good question. Just again, back to trying to be able to get enough people to help volunteer to make such a large event a success. And it takes a village, it takes a city, right? And so, but making sure that we're driving business, showing our restaurants that we appreciate all the support that they give us throughout the year. And it was just a fun way of doing it. We had a contest the first year that we kicked it off. And so we also didn't have Mother Nature's cooperation, unfortunately, with that. There's a picture of my family pulling my son in a tube down the street because we had gotten so much snow. But it's been really well received, and it's fun. And I'm excited to see what the restaurants are offering this year.
And especially given that we still have those staffing issues with these restaurants, they are still very busy, but busy in different ways. And we still want to support our local restaurants. So from the response that they've shown over the past 2 years of Taste of Keego 2.0, and as we enter the third year of this annual event with Keego Harbor Parks and Rec, just how big of an impact does a Restaurant Week event like this have on our local restaurants, even just getting the word out about your options?
You're exactly right with getting the word out, right? We are the smallest little community, less than a square mile, right? And we have 16 restaurants in that little area. So it's just making sure that we're promoting them, trying to get awareness, friends sharing on social media. And so hopefully driving some more business to our local area.
And not only are people supporting these restaurants during Taste of Keego 2.0 and hopefully all throughout the year, but that goes back into the community too. Like you said, it's a small community with a lot of restaurants, a lot of independently owned restaurants, and some chains too, like Jet's Pizza, also involved in this year's event and participating in Restaurant Week. How do they ultimately come back and help the community?
Specifically with Jets, they sponsor, they're our band sponsor for the block parties. Sorry, I blanked on the name. The Keego block parties this summer, we have one in June, July, and August. And so they help sponsor and offset the costs for having a live band.
And there's so many deals too, as we're joined by Kirsten Sonneville-Douglass from Keego Harbor Parks and Rec on today's edition of the Splash Live. That also goes into this. It's not just a promotion for these restaurants. They're really doing their part to encourage people to come in this week and giving them some special deals to taste a little bit of everything in the restaurants.
Yeah, we've got 3 of them have shared with me and they keep coming in. So stay tuned. We'll continue to promote them as they come in. We know that the restaurants are busy as well, so we want to be mindful of that. But Gino's, one of our staples here in Keego Harbor, has a triple combo, which is the chicken parmesan, fettuccine alfredo, and lasagna, and the special is $18.75, which I think is pretty amazing. So that's one that I'm excited to check out myself. The Harbor Steakhouse has a 16-ounce prime rib dinner for $25, and like you said, Jets has a large 3-item pizza for $15.99, I believe it is.
And these deals are going on all throughout the week, Kirsten. For those that may just be tuning in, what is that time window that people will be able to get some of these deals and explore all these different restaurants across Keego Harbor?
Yeah, it starts today, the 29th, and it goes through Sunday, February 4th.
You can find more information on participating restaurants as they continue at Keego Harbor Parks and Rec to post more information on how these restaurants are promoting themselves with these deals during this week. Follow them right now, facebook.com/KHParks for even more information. It's on your screen as we speak on civiccentertv.com. Facebook at KH Parks. Joining us is Kirsten Sonneville-Douglass from Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation. This is a great way to kick off the year. It gets people out and about in the community. We've had some unfavorable weather over the past couple weeks, but now after the recent rain, clearing the roads out a little bit, it's going to look like a great week to get out in the community and support these restaurants. And why have this at the beginning of the year? How does this serve as kind of that catalyst for all that you do in Keego Harbor Parks and Rec year round?
Great question. So it's the lull between some of the holiday seasons for the restaurants, right? They had Thanksgiving, family gatherings, Christmas, they've had New Year's, and then we're going to be bridging that until we've got like Valentine's Day, let's say, right? So this is kind of a lull time where people kind of just stay home, kind of nest. And so hopefully just trying to make more business for the community during that time. Also, it's a hard time for us to have events outside. So this way, we're just kind of keeping the momentum going and getting it started before the weather warms up.
If restaurants in Keego Harbor or nearby areas that want to participate in something like this haven't gotten contact with you, can they still join in during this week?
100%. 100%. Last year we had the same thing where people are like, oh, I missed my email. And so they responded, and it happens, and we understand that, right? And so if they see this, they see it on social media, we'd love to have them participate.
And if people want to participate not only in Taste of Keego 2.0, but help out with your team all throughout the year, how can they get involved with Keego Harbor Parks and Rec?
Oh, we need volunteers all the time. It takes a village. So they can contact City Hall. They can contact us on social media. You have the Facebook link up, and I appreciate that. You can find me. It's very easy. You'll see Leslie Clark in the parks all the time, so you can stop her. But just even come to one of our events and chat with one of the commissioners. We're always looking for volunteers. We just finished the Winter Wonderland Park. And so once the weather warms up a little bit, we'll be taking down all the lights and sorting them. We've got a couple of spring events. We've got the canal cleanup that will be happening April 6th at the Willow Beach swim site. And then the next big event will be the Memorial Day Parade.
And all these events, you can find a full calendar of them posted on the Keego Harbor Parks and Rec Facebook page. Again, it's on your screen as we speak. Facebook at KH Parks. Kirsten, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Tyler.
Plenty more events and information on Facebook at KH Parks. You can also find more information on how you can get involved with Keego Harbor Parks and Rec on their Facebook page. Stop in at Keego Harbor City Hall and ask them for some contact information for Leslie, for Kirsten, and others that are always involved in every parks event, or just ask them for more information by visiting KeegoHarbor.org. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. From making memories this week to collecting and preserving those memories over the years. The Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society is celebrating 50 years of service to our 4 communities. We were out at its celebration event over the weekend. We'll hear from some of their leadership, and we'll learn more about all of their work coming up next on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Take a break and tune in to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join Tyler Keefe as he goes through headlines and events, updating you on the day-to-day happenings in Oakland County. Catch us live weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Follow us on Twitter at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash, live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, where we go through the latest news, information, and interesting stories throughout Greater West Bloomfield. I'm your host, Tyler Keefe, and thank you for joining us on Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. Much of what we do here at Civic Center TV is, of course, collecting memories from today that, years down the road you may look back at to reminisce about some of the good times in recent years or decades past. And it's a lot of the same work that's being done by our friends at the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society, and that they've been doing for half a century. They're celebrating 50 years of service to our local community, including their celebration over the weekend. We'll have that full presentation available for you sometime this week on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Encourage you to stay tuned to our website on civiccentertv.com and our social media for announcements on that, as the Historical Society began their celebration over the weekend, recognizing 50 years of service, where they're collecting artifacts from throughout our community that have had an impact across not only West Bloomfield, but also the Tri-Cities, as well as pictures and more to commemorate our long-standing history as a collective for communities and as individual communities. We had a chance to be out at their event over the weekend at the Orchard Lake Schools campus, where our own Dave Scott was able to talk to some of the many people that make the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society's efforts what they are, including one of their volunteers. Let's go out to Dave.
Thanks, Tyler. Dave Scott, Civic Center TV here on the campus of Orchard Lake Schools right here in our Greater West Bloomfield area for the 50th annual meeting of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. Happened just a couple of days ago as you're watching this now. And delighted now to be joined by Kirsten Sonneville. Kirsten, how are you?
Excellent. How about yourself?
Excellent. None of this amazing work would happen without Kirsten here, because you're a volunteer that works on fundraising.
That is correct. That's what I'm doing. I'm writing the grants. So when we have a project we want to find some funding for, I write a grant request to grantors. And this year we have received 3 of them already, for a total amount of about $31,000.
That is absolutely amazing, incredible work. And without those funds, where would the Historical Society be?
Well, we would not be able to do certain projects we have always wanted to do. For example, digitizing our collections in our archives. So because of these grants, we are able to do that. We have never been able to do that. So.
For a member of the community that hasn't taken the opportunity to go over to the amazing building right in the campus of the Village of Orchard Lake City Hall, what are they missing out on?
What do you want?
What are they missing out on if they haven't been to the campus, to the building?
To the building, the history goes way back, and our museum is actually also a historical building. We recently, it has not been very visible because it's on the corner of Orchard Lake Road and Long Lake Road, and at night it's dark. There's no lights there. So one of the grants was there to pay for lighting. So all of our artifacts are lit up at night, so we are more visible. And because of that, we hope to attract more members. The carriage, our signature display, is our 1900s carriage. You probably have seen that. Yeah, and we recently provided some protection for it. We put some plastic glass in front of the carriage to protect it against the elements.
Well, Christian, congratulations to you, to Gina Gregory, to all the others who are going to be recognized here today. For people that would like to watch the entire program, you can do that. And it's been a great 50 years. How about another 50?
How about that? Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to make it that long, but I certainly hope. Okay.
All right. Well, good job making sure that all the money is available. Without the folks that write the grants and do all the work, these kind of things just wouldn't happen. So good job, Christian. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Back to you, Tyler Keefe, from the campus of Orchard Lake Schools.
Thank you, Dave, and great to hear from Christian, one of the many volunteers, and we were able to talk to him off the air also, as Dave touched on a little bit on the air about him helping, and Christian too, about him helping the Historical Society, writing those grants, submitting those applications, which are so critical for them to be able to obtain some of these artifacts, maintain their facilities, hold events all throughout the community to celebrate our local history and further their mission each and every day. Gina Gregory from their team, Anna, who just joined their team, is a full-time employee as well. And so it's a big effort, and those volunteers, those fundraising efforts go a long way. So congratulations to Christian and the entire team with the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. We'll take a short break on the Splash Live. On the other side, we'll continue that celebration. We'll hear from the woman behind it all, Gina Gregory, along with Dave Scott, and a special appearance by another heavily involved person with the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. Stay with us. The Splash Live will be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from Keego Harbor, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important.
And now the same is true in the face of flu.
Influenza has the power to infect millions.
But it's easy to protect yourself, your family, and your community.
The flu vaccine is safe and effective. And with COVID-19 still around,
it's essential. Together we can face flu season head on.
Visit michigan.gov/flu.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy. And if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Tyler Keefe, and thank you for joining us on the radio on 89.3 Lakes FM, as well as on Civic Center TV, television that's close to home, as we bring your news and stories and information from all throughout our 4 communities every single day. We encourage you to stay with us and find us on demand on civiccentertv.com, including a bunch of other original programming from throughout our 4 communities, and including a lot of really interesting programs we air throughout the day that we've imported and that we've also partnered with the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society on over the years. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary serving our 4 communities. We had the pleasure of being out at Orchard Lake Schools over the weekend where they hosted their 50th annual meeting and their celebration event, recognizing so many that are making big impacts on preserving our local history. We'll have that full presentation for you this week on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Keep up to date by staying with us on our website and following us on social media as well for updates on when that will air. In the meantime, we also had a lot of fun talking to those that are making this historical society's work happen each and every day, and arguably chief among those is their president, Gina Gregory. And we had Dave Scott out at that event over the weekend to talk to her about this 50th anniversary and so much more. Let's go out to Dave.
Thanks, Tyler. Dave Scott on the campus of Orchard Lake Schools at an auspicious occasion, the 50th meeting of the West Bloomfield Historical Society. And it wouldn't be a meeting without Gina Gregory. Hi, Gina.
Hi, Dave. We're excited you're here. Thank you for coming.
I'm thrilled to be here. I wouldn't miss it for the world. What a huge accomplishment. 50 years of opening the eyes of people of our community and giving them a glimpse into the past. Bravo.
50 years of collecting memories, collecting memorabilia, and archives. So our museum is so full from top to bottom of things that people have donated to us. So it's pretty spectacular what we've done in 50 years. And I'm proud of this organization and what we've accomplished.
Well, you've been so kind to give me an opportunity to bring a camera and walk around and show the people what you have in the museum. But I know it's been a lot of work, in particular on your part, your board and people that your husband and people that are very close to this organization, because you don't have like a huge staff of people. You guys make it happen. And the exhibits that you've continued to update are really remarkable.
They are. We're so fortunate to have a small but mighty group of volunteers, and they each contribute in with their specialty, and it just blends together really well, and we get some high quality programs and materials and exhibits that I'll boldly say meet all the industry standards.
Well, as we are watching this on the Splash, we have already recorded the entire program. So for people watching Tyler do his thing this morning and now watching you, tell people what they'll see from this 50th anniversary meeting and certainly some of the awards you're going to present.
It'll be a highlight. There's so much to talk about. It takes me too long to say it in a short amount of time. So I'm going to focus on last year, 2023. And then for our awards program, we're going to highlight all of our past board members. And I also thought it was very fitting that our Distinguished Service Award this year go to our 2023 board members, because without leaders, this group couldn't move forward. So we like to give out the awards almost every year, and this was a good year for them. So we're patting ourselves on the back, but I think it's appropriate.
Well, and you absolutely should. Listen, no one in this community works harder than Gina Gregory. She's got great passion for this project, and this wouldn't be happening without your hard work. Congratulations on your 50th, and thank you for putting this all together and spending a moment with us. So.
My right-hand man.
Okay. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, and welcome.
Good. Congratulations on this event today.
Good. We're entering our 50th year. It's absolutely incredible and wonderful at the same time.
Gina said she does all the work, and you really don't do anything. I'm just kidding. Talk.
I'm a great wingman, I'm going to tell you that. I always operate behind the scenes to make other people look good, and she doesn't need much prompting in that area. She keeps us bopping all the time.
And she's right behind me helping me out.
Quick question. When you walk in the museum, when you look at what you folks have accomplished, is there one thing that just sticks out that you're uniquely, extraordinarily proud of?
Well, I love the exhibit that features the MMA, Michigan Military Academy, which happens to be right on the grounds where we are today. And that's kind of close to my heart. I love the uniform there and the feature of the children and young boys that came here as part of a military school environment. It's fascinating stuff.
All right, ladies, good job. Enjoy your program today. We're going to enjoy watching it. Tyler, it's just like, when the folks from NBC are interviewing the quarterback sideline at the end of the game, and then the running back comes jumping right into the shot, right? It's just like that right here. Thank you, guys. Back to you, Tyler.
Appreciate it, Dave, and appreciate all the work that Gina Gregory, Susan K. Williams, and so many others at the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society are putting in all throughout the year to help preserve our local history, collect more of those memories over the years, and bring them to you and I each and every day. You can keep up to date with the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and more of their celebrations of 50 years in 2024 at GWBHS.org. We'll take a short break on the Splash Live. On the other side, some details you need to know the next time you go to the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Plus, if there are volunteers like we've seen at the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society that you think should be recognized by our community, how you can nominate them for some special awards. The Splash Live will be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Ronnie started doing prescription pills at the age of 15, and by 19, he died. If your child is struggling with drug use, try not to be too proud to reach out for help. Don't be worried about what the neighbor will think or your family. Just get your child the help they need. Sometimes it's the hard road to take, but the hard road is nothing compared to living with the fact that your child is no longer with you.
There's hope and help at drugfree.org.
Take a break and tune in to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join Tyler Keefe as he goes through headlines and events, updating you on the day-to-day happenings in Oakland County. Catch us live weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99. Bringing you stories and memories from Sylvan Lake, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Tyler Keefe, and thank you for joining us each and every day on 89.3 Lakes FM and on Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. There's plenty of fun happening all throughout this week across our 4 communities. We told you about Restaurant Week in Keego Harbor. Right next door in Sylvan Lake, Wednesday is once again game night at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Plenty of fun and games, all beginning at 6:30 p.m., whether you like board games, you like card games, or just socializing with your neighbors in the prettiest little city in Michigan. Plenty to do at the community center. Games include mahjong and even euchre, although there won't be a tournament this week. That was earlier on this month. They'll still have games like euchre, mahjong, and other board games. Bring your friends, come alone, bring a group, whatever you so choose. Have a fun night at the community center and find more information on Sylvan Lake events all throughout the year on sylvanlake.org. If you're heading over to the West Bloomfield Township Public Library to check out books or other media, keep in mind there is one item you're going to need to bring with you going forward, and that is your very own bag. The West Bloomfield Township Public Library posting recently on their Facebook page at West Bloom LIB. They are no longer providing plastic bags at checkout as a conservation effort to protect our environment, not only in our community, but throughout the world as well. And so they're encouraging you to bring your own tote bags with you to collect those books, those movies, those other items at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. You can learn even more on their Facebook page at West Bloom LIB and on their website as well at wblib.org. And a reminder, the West Bloomfield Township Public Library proudly serves all 4 of our communities and all students in the West Bloomfield School District as well. So get your library card, get out to the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Just remember, bring the bag with you that you'll need in order to bring all those books home and enjoy reading during this winter in Greater West Bloomfield. We also love our volunteers in our local community, and the time is here once again to nominate volunteers and others who are making a difference every single day out of the goodness of their heart in our 4 communities and our schools. With the Michigan Week Community Awards Breakfast, nominations open now through Friday, February 16th at 11:59 p.m. Those that are making an impact in our schools schools, out in the community, in our organizations, doing community service projects all across the greater West Bloomfield area are just some of what they're looking for, and you can find more information on MichiganWeek.org. We recently also spoke with Deborah Macon from the Michigan Week Committee. You can find our full interview with even more details on what they're looking for and the ideal Michigan Week Awards candidates by visiting CivicCenterTV.com. There's so much going on all throughout the year and all throughout the week. We'll give you the latest news, information, and talk to interesting people doing great things in our community all throughout the week. Stay with us. The Splash Live will continue very soon.